Your partner is on the way. Keep your mouth shut, stay silent, and don't block it. These words resonate like a warning, but also like a promise. A mysterious reminder. Someone or something is already moving toward you. Perhaps this partner is the love of your life. Perhaps it's an opportunity, an encounter, a partnership you've longed for. And yet, it's getting closer, step by step. The real question isn't whether it will come, but whether you'll be ready when it knocks at your door. Too often, we sabotage our own blessings. We talk too much. We over-explain. We justify ourselves endlessly. We stifle the promise before it even has a chance to take shape. This message is simple but powerful. Sometimes, silence is your greatest weapon. Don't rush things. Don't try to control everything. And above all, don't block the path with your doubts or impulsive actions. In this video, we will explore together what it means to wait patiently, to remain silent, and not to sabotage the arrival of what is meant for you. You will understand why waiting is a strength, why silence attracts what needs to enter your life, and how to avoid the pitfalls that cause so many people to miss out on their partner. Your partner is on the way. Stay calm. Trust. Silence is the space you leave for the promise to be fulfilled. 1. Waiting and patience. Waiting is never easy. In a world where everything is fast, instantaneous, and delivered with a click, we have forgotten the value of time. Yet life itself does not obey our urgent whims. The most precious things take time to form. A diamond isn't born in a day. It takes thousands of years of pressure, heat, and silence underground for it to take shape. It's the same for your partner, your encounter, your promise. It's already moving towards you, but you must understand that the path requires patience. If you try to rush things, you risk destroying what was meant to be yours. Imagine a seed. You plant it in the ground. Every day, you can water it, watch over it, and give it sunshine. But if you scratch the earth every morning to check if it's growing, you will end up killing the seed. Growth requires trust and silence. You don't see anything moving, but beneath the surface, life is taking shape. Roots are building. The stem is preparing. And one day, suddenly, green bursts out of the soil. Patience is exactly that. Believing in the invisible before the visible appears. Let's take another example. You're waiting for a train. You're on the platform. You know the train is coming, but you don't see it yet. If you panic, if you leave the platform because you think it will never arrive, you will miss the exact moment it stops in front of you. The train doesn't need your worries to move forward. It follows its trajectory, its timing. Your role is to stay ready, to wait in the right place, calmly. Too often, we lose what we want most because we speak too soon or act too quickly. Do you meet someone interesting? You're so impatient that you suddenly reveal everything. You put on pressure, you seek control. Result? The other person becomes afraid and distances themselves. Are you waiting for a professional opportunity? You constantly ask for it. You talk to everyone, you try to force fate. And ultimately, the opportunity closes because you've stifled the natural process. Waiting is a school. It teaches you trust. It teaches you to control your emotions, to breathe, to understand that the best things always come with perfect timing. Never too soon, never too late. Silence isn't a void. It's a fertile space. It's in this silence that promise grows stronger. Think of all the stories where patience has transformed a life. An artist who works for years before their talent is recognized. A couple who endures hardships before finding themselves stronger than ever. A dream that seemed dead but is suddenly reborn when you least expect it. These stories aren't instant miracles. They are the fruit of stubborn patience, of silent trust. So when you hear this phrase, your partner is on the way, keep your mouth shut, stay silent, and don't block it, understand this. Waiting isn't wasting time. It's preparing yourself, purifying yourself, arming yourself with faith.
It's accepting that the seed will germinate underground, that the train will roll along its tracks, that your promise will take shape out of your sight. Your role isn't to push time, but to be ready. Because one day, without warning, what you've been waiting for will stand before you. And at that moment, you'll understand that every second of patience had meaning. 2. The power of silence. We've been taught to believe that silence is a weakness, that to remain silent is to lack arguments, that to say nothing is to be dominated. But the truth is quite different. Silence is a force, a subtle power that only those who master inner confidence can wield. Think about it. When someone shouts, fidgets, talks incessantly, we often sense insecurity, doubt, and the fear of not being heard behind their words. But when a person remains calm and silent, they impose a presence. Their silence intrigues, attracts, and makes us think. Silence speaks without speaking. This is exactly what this phrase teaches. Your partner is on the way. Keep your mouth shut, stay silent, and don't block it. Your silence creates space. A space for the other to come to you, for the promise to take shape without being smothered by your words. In psychology, there's a simple principle. The calmer and more confident you are, the more magnetic you become. People aren't attracted to those who shout their worth, but to those who don't need to prove it. Silence is a language of inner security. When you don't try to justify everything, explain everything, or control everything, you send a clear signal. I know that what's mine will come to me. I don't need to force it. Spiritual traditions have long understood this. In Buddhism, they say, silence is an answer. In Eastern wisdom, they teach that water is powerful precisely because it flows silently, without resistance, and ultimately sculpts stone. The Bible also contains this idea. There is a time to speak and a time to be silent. He who masters silence possesses greater power. Imagine a scene. Two people are arguing. One raises their voice, trying to have the last word, to dominate the conversation. The other remains calm, remains silent, listens. The former thinks she's won, but in reality, who inspires respect? Who appears in control? Always the one who remains silent. Because silence isn't a void, but a mastery. Let's apply this to your partner, to your promise. When you remain silent, you leave room for the other to act, to come closer, to seek you out. Too much talk can be repulsive, but silence attracts. Silence intrigues. Why doesn't he need to talk? Why does she remain calm when everyone else is so agitated? It's this mystery that gives value to your presence. And then there's that inner silence, even more powerful. The silence of your thoughts, of your worries. The moment when you stop repeating in your head, will this work? Will he or she come? What if I lose this opportunity? When these inner noises fall silent, you enter a state of peace that naturally attracts what is meant for you. Silence is the art of trusting. It's refusing to fight the current. It's knowing that what's for you can't be stolen and that what's not for you will eventually go. It's not passivity, it's mastery. Silence says, I am ready. I don't need to prove anything, nor force it.
I wait with confidence. So remember, your partner is already on the way. Your role is not to shout for them to hear, but to remain calm so they can find their place. Silence is not a lack. Silence is the invisible signal that attracts, strengthens, and protects. And in this silence, your promise draws closer, slowly but surely. 3. Don't block what's coming. The phrase "don't block it" is perhaps the most crucial part of the message. Because it's possible that your partner, your promise, your opportunity is already within your grasp, but you may be, unknowingly, the first obstacle in their path. Yes, we often talk about external adversity, people who criticize us, difficult circumstances, unexpected delays. But much more often, the real enemy lies within. Our doubts, our fears, our impulsive reactions. They are the ones blocking the arrival of what belongs to us. Self-sabotage in love. Imagine this scene. You've been waiting a long time for someone who's right for you, and one day, they appear. But because you doubt yourself, you start talking too much, over-explaining, wanting to control every detail. You call them constantly. You try to guess their thoughts. You apply pressure that, instead of creating closeness, stifles the budding relationship. The result? The person pulls away. Not because they weren't meant to be, but because you've blocked the natural flow for fear of losing them. Other times, it's the opposite. For fear of being hurt, you close yourself off. You block the other person's entry into your life by erecting invisible walls. You don't give access to your heart. You think you're protecting yourself, but in reality, you're preventing love from entering. Professional self-sabotage. This principle also plays out in the workplace. An opportunity presents itself. A promotion, a project, a meeting that could change your trajectory. But instead of remaining open and confident, you doubt. You hesitate too long. You devalue yourself. You talk about your weaknesses instead of showing your strengths. Or you become impatient. You try to impose things too quickly, and the door closes. How many people have lost a precious opportunity simply because they didn't believe they were ready? How many have blocked their blessing by telling themselves, "This isn't for me, I'm not worthy"? Spiritual self-sabotage. There is also this invisible dimension. Many spiritual promises, blessings, are delayed not because the source is slow to send them, but because we erect barriers through our lack of faith. When you say, "This will never happen for me, I'm cursed, nothing works in my life," you are blocking what was coming to you. Your words become walls, your thoughts become chains. Silence, on the other hand, allows things to flow. To remain silent is to refuse to repeat doubt. It is to keep the space open for the promise to find its way. Recognizing the signs of blockage. Blockage isn't always obvious. Sometimes it takes the form of incessant chatter. Sometimes it hides behind perfectionism. You wait for everything to be perfect before moving forward, and the opportunity slips away. Other times, it's the fear of losing that drives you to overreact. The key is to observe yourself, to recognize when you're acting out of fear rather than confidence. Whenever you feel like you need to force, insist, or control, remember, you may be blocking what used to come naturally to you. 4. Trials during the wait. Waiting is never a straight line. Between the promise and its fulfillment, there is always a desert. And in this desert, we are faced with trials that test our patience, our silence, our trust. These trials are not there to destroy us, but to purify us, to prepare us to receive what is coming, the temptation to speak. This is the first of the trials. the irrepressible need to say everything, to explain everything, to justify yourself. You sense that something is coming, but impatience pushes you to share it too soon. You talk about your plans to people who don't understand. You reveal your feelings to someone prematurely. You unveil your plans before the process is fully developed. The result? What should have grown in secrecy is stifled by too many words. Silence is a test. The difficulty lies in holding back, keeping things to yourself, letting things build before announcing them. The desire to control. The second challenge is control. We want to master everything, organize everything, anticipate everything. When the deadline drags on, we panic. What if it doesn't happen? What if I have to intervene? So we start forcing things, manipulating, pushing. But every time we force things, we lose our natural fluidity. Waiting requires learning to let go, to accept that what's happening doesn't need your hands to move forward. Fear and anxiety. Silence leaves space, but in that space, our negative thoughts creep in. We begin to doubt ourselves. What if I wasn't good enough? What if it didn't work? What if this promise was an illusion? Anxiety makes us believe that time is against us, when in reality, time is working for us. Fear is a lie that tries to divert us. Every time you think you've been forgotten, remember, the train is still on its tracks, even if you can't yet see it in the distance. Doubt and the test of faith. Doubt is perhaps the hardest test. When nothing moves, when months pass and nothing seems to change, you begin to question the promise. You think you were dreaming, that you were mistaken. But it is precisely in these moments that faith takes root. Faith is not believing when everything is visible. Faith is continuing to move forward when there is no visible evidence. It is remaining silent even when everything inside you screams to give up. A parable: the craftsman and the clay. One day, a craftsman was shaping a piece of clay. The material, impatient, said, "Why are you hitting me? Why are you crushing me? Why are you putting me in this burning oven?" But the craftsman replied, "If I don't shape you, you will remain dust. If I don't put you in the fire, you will never be solid. And when I have shaped you, you will become a precious jar capable of containing the water of life." Waiting is this shaping. The blows, the pressure, the fire. These are the trials. But they prepare your heart, your character, so that you are able to receive and keep your partner, your promise.
5. When your partner arrives. And then, one day, without warning, everything changes. You've waited, you've crossed the desert, you've remained silent. You've resisted the temptation to speak too soon, to doubt, to block things out. And suddenly, what you've been hoping for stands before you. Your partner arrives. It could be a person, the love you've been waiting for, an encounter that challenges your certainties. It could be an opportunity, a project that opens, a door that unlocks. Or it could be a spiritual response, a sign, a blessing, a promise that takes shape. The simplicity of accomplishment. The most striking thing is the fluidity. Everything you've tried to force for years seems to fall into place naturally, as if each piece of the puzzle had been waiting for this precise moment to come together. You realize you didn't need to push, run, or scream. You just needed to wait, to remain silent, to trust. And then, you understand the power of silence. Because you didn't speak too soon, you didn't stifle the promise. Because you didn't block it with your fears, you left the field open. And the result is this harmony unfolding before your eyes. What could have happened?
Imagine for a second if you had spoken too soon, if you had revealed your plans, your feelings, your fears, your doubts, before the time. Perhaps the person would have walked away, frightened by too much pressure. Perhaps the opportunity would have closed because you revealed your flaws at the wrong time. Perhaps the promise would have been nipped in the bud. But you remained silent. You held firm. And today, you are reaping the rewards of that discipline. The emotion of encountering. The moment your partner arrives is always charged with emotion. It's not just the joy of receiving what you've been waiting for. It's also the recognition of how far you've come. Every doubt, every silence, every tear in the waiting takes on new meaning. You understand that nothing has been lost. Even the trials were necessary to prepare you for this moment. It's as if time stands still. You realize, this is it. This is now. What I've been waiting for is finally here. A fragile gift. When your partner arrives, you must still be vigilant. This is not the time to break the silence with words of fear. This is not the time to block out what is offered to you with disbelief. On the contrary, it is the time to receive with humility and gratitude. The promise is like a flame entrusted to you. If you blow on it too hard with your words, you risk extinguishing it. But if you protect it, if you tend it gently, it will become a strong and lasting fire. The fulfillment of the message. Then the phrase takes on its full meaning. Your partner is on the way. Keep your mouth shut, stay silent, and don't block it. You realize it wasn't just a recommendation, but a strategy. A guide to reaching this precise moment. You remained silent. The promise grew without being stifled. You didn't block it. The promise found its way to you. And now your partner is here, present, real, tangible. This moment is the reward for your patience. And it's not just beautiful because your partner has arrived. It's beautiful because you know deep down that you haven't wasted anything. You waited, you trusted, you are ready. Your partner is on the way. Trust, stay silent, don't block it. These words are no longer just a mysterious phrase. They have become a summary of your journey. You have come to understand that waiting is not a waste of time, but preparation. That silence is not a weakness, but a power. That the greatest barrier to your blessings is not the outside world, but your own doubts and your own words. Now the message is clear. Your partner is on the way. It can be a person, an encounter, an opportunity, a promise. But no matter what form it takes, one thing is certain. You must remain ready, trusting, and silent. Because silence protects. Because silence attracts. Because silence paves the way. So here is the call to action. Continue to cultivate patience. Each day is one more step toward the promise. Keep your lips closed when the urge to speak too soon becomes irresistible. Some things must grow in secrecy. Refuse to block with your fears, your doubts, your negative words. Replace them with trust, gratitude, and faith. Prepare yourself internally, because what you're waiting for deserves a disciplined, stable version of yourself, ready to receive. Don't see this message as a simple lesson, but as a reminder of life. If you can apply this principle, wait, remain silent, don't block, then you'll be surprised to see how many things you thought were far away will suddenly become closer to you. Imagine, tomorrow, in a week, in a month, in a year, your partner may appear, and on that day, you'll be grateful for having held firm, for having believed despite the invisible, for having remained silent when everything inside you wanted to speak. So remember every time impatience returns. Your partner is on the way. Keep your mouth shut. Stay silent. Don't block it. It's more than a warning. It's a promise, a direction, a key. And if you keep it in your heart, you will see the path open before you.